What's going on, everybody? It is Friday, which means it's time for another episode of My News Radar. And on this episode, we're going to start things off with what has got to be one of the more perplexing, strange, frustrating, and disappointing pieces of news to come out of the mobile tech space, the phone world, in quite some time. Do you guys remember a little phone called the Essential PH1? This little oddball phone, one of the first phones, in fact, that had a notch on it. You may remember that being a thing that everybody talked about way back when. Had some little magnetic things in the back for some modules that you could stick on there, but they didn't really make very many of them. Well, the company was started by one of the original Android guys, and he basically wanted to make his own phone with his own vision of Android, and that was the Essential phone. And it was pretty good. It had some problems, right? But over time, the software got better, and the thing did okay, but not okay enough because the company Essential eventually folded, went bye-bye. I think they were going to make some weird, super skinny, like remote control phone there for a minute, but then that didn't happen. Well, after they went away, another company stepped up, and they formed themselves from the ashes of the Essential company, and they called themselves OSOM, spelled O-S-O-M. And they talked about building a new phone with sort of a new vision, a vision of privacy. In fact, just the other day, as we were leading up to what was reported to be a big announcement from OSOM, I put together a quick thread talking about what this device, what we knew about it so far. You can see on screen here, this is what it was supposed to look like. Dual cameras there on the back, 48 megapixel, 12 megapixel, 16 on the front. Was supposed to be made of relatively premium materials, Victus glass, zirconia back with a matte finish, stainless steel chassis, rear mounted fingerprint scanner. How about a really super duper strange thing, a USB-C cable where you could flip a switch and data transfer will be turned off, so that if you plugged it into a computer you weren't familiar with, you could flip that little switch and you knew that your data was not going to get onto that computer. And that was kind of the whole point of this thing, right? It was for privacy. You can read what their core belief was here on their website now on screen. It was all about privacy. They weren't going to come with Chrome, right? It was supposed to come with Brave, and instead of Gmail, it was going to have some other email app, which I think I put in this Twitter thread down here, Proton Mail, something that they thought was more secure. That was sort of the point of the OSOM OV1. It's supposed to be well under $1,000, and honestly, as we go over all of these specifications, all of this information, it was something that I thought was pretty interesting. I thought this was an exciting idea, sort of like it's an Android phone, but it wasn't like a googly Android phone. It's supposed to kind of do away with some of the Google stuff and replace it with more secure things, more private things. Like, okay, yeah, that sounds really cool. This is something I've thought about for a long time. People have scripts to de-Google their phones, remove the Google Play services and all these sorts of things. And this is interesting. It was going to be like a half step, right, between a fully de-Googled phone and a fully Googled phone, something more private. Okay, so I was excited about this. Well, today we got our announcement. We got our news, and boy, oh boy, is it not what I was expecting, and I am not super excited about this anymore, because now we know that the OSOM OV1 will now be called the Solana Saga, and will apparently be heavily based in crypto in some way. I do not know what that means. I do not understand. We're going to go to their website right now, because if you go to the OSOM website, where it used to show the OV1, now says building tomorrow's hardware today, and you scroll down and you don't see a whole lot. You click on get yours. It takes you to Solana Mobile's website, which is not loading correctly for me. There's supposed to be like a silhouette of a phone here, but it's not showing it on my desktop. Whatever. You scroll down, Saga with Solana Mobile Stack. It's time for crypto to go mobile. And they talk about all sorts of these sorts of crypto safely access keys, own the relationship with your customers, all sorts of crypto-y based stuff. Saga Pass is coming soon, NFTs and all sorts of things like that. I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't know what any of this stuff means, okay? The most I've done with cryptocurrency is I bought some Doge way back in the day. Remember when it was going up and down? I would buy it, it would go up, then I'd sell it, and it would go down. And I'd buy it again, and it'd go up, and I made like a few $100s doing that. And then that's it. That's the extent of my understanding of cryptocurrency. I could not give two shits less about NFTs. I don't care. I don't care about cryptocurrency either. This is not interesting to me. And I suspect this move that they have made. I don't know what has motivated this move. Maybe this project was going poorly, they were running out of money, and they needed to partner with somebody. Strictly speculative right there. But I have a suspicion that this move is a move that is going to disqualify a lot of people from wanting to purchase this phone. Another really strange aspect of this is, it sounds to me like if you want to put down your deposit for a pre-order, you have to use USDC, which I believe is some sort of one of these internet coins. This is not money. This is, well, I guess no money's real, but it's a money that I don't have any of because it's a cryptocurrency, I think. So are they only taking cryptocurrency to buy this phone? And to make matters like so much worse for me, when this was the OSOM OV1, they said in an interview it would be well sub $1,000. Okay, so I would say between $500 and like $999 would be in that range of well sub $1,000. Well, now apparently it's going to be $1,000. So the price went up. The thing got weirder. It got harder to understand, and of course, it got more expensive. Oh, but the specs are the same. This is like such a strange turn of events. Like if you didn't know better, you'd be like, were they hacked? Was their Twitter account hacked? Is this even real? But evidently it's real. The OSOM OV1 is now the Solana Saga, and from what I can tell, whereas before we were talking about a privacy-based phone that was meant for the person that wanted to, keep the prying eyes, I guess is the correct term, off of their behavior. They wanted to keep Google out of their personal private information and so forth. Well, now it's a phone. If you like those drawings of those monkeys I've seen all around the internet, apes, I think is what they call them. So if you like those ape pictures, maybe this is the phone for you. It's crazy to me that I daily drive a phone that, you could say is like a super niche device. In fact, I've said it's a super niche device, and it is a super niche device. However, it's a device that I can explain to the average person extremely easily, right? I can just do this. I can go 2 screens. And most people will at that point be like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of get it. Maybe they don't fully understand what they would use it for, but you could pretty simply go 1 app and then 2 apps, and they'd be like, okay, yeah, I get that. This phone, what an uphill battle they have in front of themselves, because I'm a fairly techie person, obviously, and I don't have any idea what the purpose of this phone is. When I go to their website and I start reading this stuff, I just glaze over. I don't understand any of this, and I don't care to. This is not something I'm interested in. You could say, well, Shane, everything's not meant for you. Duh, of course, and I totally get that. Clearly, this is not a phone that was made for me. I thought it was kind of a phone made for me before. Now it's clear that it's not, so a little bit of whiplash disappointment going on there. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think this phone is for very many people at all. I think this is like an incredibly niche product at this point. How many people are walking around on this planet are going to be like, of course, the cryptocurrency phone. Finally, what I've been waiting for. Like, what is it, like 4 people or something? That they're going to be really excited about this device? I'm just in shock. It also feels like a really weird time to be announcing something like this, because even though I don't follow crypto, I am aware that Bitcoin and I guess other cryptocurrencies presumably are absolutely tanking at the moment. So it's just a weird thing. And I guess we can keep going here with weird decisions from upstart phone companies that took me from being excited about their device to being a lot less excited about their device, because a couple of bits of information here about the Nothing Phone 1, which I've covered a lot, I know, but people like it, so we're going to keep going. The Nothing Phone 1 was rumored to be using the Snapdragon 7 Gen 1. That would have been the newest mid-range processor, but apparently that is not going to be the case, because we've got a leak from Geekbench which reveals it to in fact not be that. It is in fact the Snapdragon 778G Plus, which is not the current gen. It is actually the one before this one, I believe. So a little bit disappointing there, because we kind of thought we were going to be getting the top of the line, at least in the mid-range way, right? Which is fine. Mid-range is fine. I know that this is kind of a low score, right? Like the ROG phone that just got announced is in the 4,000s for multi-core. And I think it's in like maybe 13 or 1400 single core. I may be wrong about that. It might only be like 12 or 13. Whatever. It's a lot higher than this one. But that's fine, okay? Because I've said a million times, these phones are all more than fast enough. This is fine. This is fast enough. But if you were hoping for the top of the line, the most recent thing, that is a little bit disappointing. But then we also have a bit more disappointing stuff. And I kind of talked about this on a brief video the other day, but I'm going to reiterate it here. The Nothing Phone 1, in case you missed it, will not be shipping in North America. You'll be able to import it, but it will not natively support our North American cell phone band. So if you bring it in and you put your T-Mobile SIM into it, you may experience erratic behavior. You may suffer from poor coverage, calling, texting. These sorts of things may not work super duper well. So Nothing Phone 1, kind of similar to the OSOM OV1, taking a big step back for me, because the fact that, I'm not going to spend $500 on a phone that probably isn't even going to work that well in my area on my cell phone coverage. That's a little bit hard for me to stomach. Although people apparently put in bids at the auction that were like $3,000 for it. So there's some crazy people out there in the world, but I'm not one of them. And let's end this episode in eulogy for Internet Explorer, because Internet Explorer is, I was going to say it's dead, but you can still use it. It's no longer supported. I guess it's kind of dead in a way. It's kind of like how if you have an old relative you don't really love anymore and you ship them off to the old folks' home. You send grandma, grandpa, whatever, out there to the home, and you never go visit them anymore. They're not dead. They might as well be. After 27 years, Microsoft's web browser, Internet Explorer, is no longer supported. And I've got some market share data here that's actually quite interesting. Shows here Internet Explorer sitting at 2.15% of market share. So I know there's not a lot of people that are going to be affected by this. Strangely, a lot of businesses, I think, held on to Internet Explorer for a really long time. Like when I used to work at the old Advance Auto Parts, we used IE for a really long time. And then they brought in like Chrome, and then they brought in, I think that they might have even used 2 different versions of IE, like an old one and a new one for different tasks. Really weird, really poorly put together. 2.15% people using IE, and almost 6% of people using Edge. So we're fine. That's triple the people already moved over to Edge. I also saw this on the internet the other day. It says Microsoft Edge is the only browser recommended by Microsoft, and I saw that, and it's tangentially related to this, and that does make me laugh. I actually really like Microsoft Edge. It's the browser that I use. It's really good. It's based on Chrome. You got all your extensions and everything. They're adding new features all the time. But at any rate, Internet Explorer is in a strange Schrodinger state of being both dead and alive simultaneously, dependent upon if anyone ever looks at it again, which you probably shouldn't. So just leave it there in that superposition and move on. Guys, that's all the news I have for you today. Thanks to all of my YouTube members scrolling either on this side. I can never remember. They're scrolling somewhere on the screen. Thanks to you guys. Thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.